Attorney Bill Bly here. As promised, I'm going to tell you about your rights and how you can exercise those rights when being interviewed by the police. The rights I'm going to explain to you are commonly referred to as your Miranda rights. First, if you're going down to the PD to voluntarily meet with the cops, they're probably not going to read you your Miranda rights, and they don't have to yet because you are volunteering to speak with them. Well, guess what? You have the right to shut up and say nothing. That's also known as your right to remain silent. You do not have to tell the police anything. I know that's hard to believe, but you're under no obligation to speak with the police. So don't. And believe me when I tell you that speaking with the police will not help your case. And that's because the police need your help to build their case against you. That's why you're really there. The cops are hoping your story is so inconsistent that it leads to a confession or that it makes it nearly impossible for your attorney to effectively defend you once you've been formally charged. Let me say it again. The cops are not looking to clear your name. They're not trying to figure out if you really meant to look at that child pornography or if she was lying about what happened last night. They actually believe you did it, period. And it doesn't matter that it's not true. They just need a little bit more proof from you so they can slam that door shut on that jail cell that you don't even realize you're staring into right now. By the way, the cops will employ trickery and other investigative techniques in order to obtain a confession. Normal people call that lying because that's what it is. But the cops will call it investigative techniques. The cops like to use all different kinds of investigative techniques. So do yourself and your case a favor and shut your mouth, please. Second, you have the right to have an attorney present when you're speaking with the police. Don't let them tell you that you don't need an attorney. The cops will lie to you and they're going to try to guilt you into giving up that right. That's because they know I'm going to come down to the police station and put a stop to their investigative techniques. In fact, I'm going to shut it down before you can damage your case beyond repair. The cops will even say to you, hey, if you're not guilty, why do you need an attorney? I mean, that sounds like a good question, right? Bullshit. You have a right to an attorney, period. Don't go down to that station without one. And remember how I said the cops will use lots of different investigative techniques, or as we like to say in the real world, lies? Here's another one. They're going to try and convince you to take a polygraph so you can quickly clear your name. Do not do it. Because if you don't pass the polygraph, you're going to get pressured into confessing to a crime that maybe you didn't commit. And do you really think a failed polygraph is going to make you look any better in the eyes of the cops or the prosecutor? Of course not. But if you have an attorney with you, like me, I'll make sure that you don't take the polygraph with the cops, unless and until we do our own independent polygraph. And guess what? If you don't pass it, who cares? No one will ever know about that. When you haven't invoked your right to an attorney or you haven't brought a criminal attorney with you to the police station to protect you, the cops will place tremendous psychological pressure on you to confess by lying to you again and telling you that you're a good guy. No one here's judging you. Hey, we all make mistakes. This doesn't have to destroy your life, son. If you just admit what you did, it'll carry a lot of weight with the prosecutor and the judge. Hey, we can get you help if you need it. Just admit to your mistake. Once again, the cops are trying to get you to confess by using psychological and emotional warfare, commonly referred to as the REID technique, R-E-I-D technique. Go look it up. And once you confess, and believe me, so many people do, they're charging you with a sex crime anyway, unless you exercise your right to have an attorney present while you're being questioned. Look, if you don't want to go talk with the cops, you want to talk and try to prove to them I didn't do it, you might as well put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. You're killing the defensibility of your case. Instead, bring an attorney along, or better yet, don't talk with the cops, period. And last but not least, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided to you at the state's expense. This means that an attorney will be assigned to you, but only after you show up to court after you've already been charged, or when that voluntary interview with the police has turned custodial and you know enough to ask for an attorney. You see, custodial means something short of a formal arrest. It's where a reasonable person would believe that they're no longer free to leave. So while you're not entitled to a court-appointed right away, don't make your court-appointed attorney's job tougher by waiving that right. Once the cops start reading you about your Miranda rights, they've already decided to slap the cuffs on you and arrest you. And if they didn't Mirandize you, they're going to try and paint a picture for the judge that the conversation between you and them was voluntary and it wasn't confrontational. That's a fancy way of saying, just because we were asking you some questions, it doesn't mean you were entitled to a free lawyer because you weren't in official police custody yet. Look, there is a lot to know when it comes to the law, and I understand how confusing this can be. So instead of making the terrible mistake of speaking with the cops without a lawyer present, pick up the phone and schedule a time for us to meet. Do this before you agree to sit down with the police. Regardless of whatever time pressures they may tell you apply to your case, like, this is your only chance to tell us your side of the story. And that's the oldest trick in the book and a flat-out lie. You're under no obligation to speak with the police. So instead, come speak with me because I'm actually on your side. Now, we just barely scratched the surface of the law in this video. There's just so much more to know than we have time to explain here. And frankly, it wouldn't really be helpful to you. Because what you need to know is that you need an attorney, and you have to find the best one for you. And that's a very personal decision. So if you're thinking that we might be the right law firm for you, please call us now to start the process. Thanks, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.